Morning, everybody. It is Wednesday, January 28th, 2026. First month is almost in the can, guys. Almost in the can. 2026 seems to be a interesting year so far. So, decided this year I'm going to go ahead and just read the Bible front cover to cover. Ain't done it in a hot minute. And doing it through YouVersion. King James Version, of course. And we're in the book of Job already. I ain't gonna lie, the latter halves of Genesis from 20 to 40 were more spicy than any daytime soap opera that I've ever watched, which can't say I've watched many of those, but yeah, whatever. But the book of Job, guys, what does the book of Job tell us? Because here we've got a guy named Job who's true believer of God, and literally he is reveling and prospering and thriving in the grace of God. He has what would amount to today, a vast empire dynasty almost of wealth and animals, and he's got a large family and all the things in the in early human times that would depict wealth and everything. And he was a man of God. And but the earth is the dominion of Satan. And several times it is mentioned, where did you come from, man? Satan says, I walked, hither and thither, forth and yon on this earth that I am dominion over. And we have to remember that we are God's children, but we live on this planet that is currently, although it is God's creation, it is the dominion of Satan himself. We lost dominion over it during the Garden of Eden and the original sin. But what does the book of Job tell us? He is, we can't put a timeline on it, but it seems as though within the space of a week, he loses pretty much everything. His cattle, his fields, his everything, his family are all cut down. I mean, everything is just taken away from him. And you know, he has a pity party. You know, God doesn't, there's no sin in mourning. There is no sin in depression. And there is no sin in being sad for loss. And Job was no exception to this rule. He threw himself a major pity party. But I mean, you gotta understand, this is like, you know, Steve Jobs or insert name here of wealthy person all of a sudden waking up, you know, in a refrigerator box on the side of the street with nothing but, you know, the clothes on his back. Kind of a thing, you know. Other than the home that he lived in, I don't think he had anything left. At least that would depict wealth. And then to add insult on injury, you know, God said, okay, well, you know, he, you know, yeah, the devil said, okay, well, he still, you know, worships you, but let me have the ability to torment him physically, you know. And God said, okay, well, torment him physically. And then he gave him boils from the tip of his toes to the top of his head and everything. And, you know, it was so bad that he was scraping his arm with pieces of broken pottery. But he still remained faithful to God and prayed to God and gave it to God. You know, one of my favorite biblical-esque quotes is from the Charlton Heston's Ten Commandments. When Moses was sent forth into the desert in exile from Egypt, and he wandered, and the final statement is, beaten to near death, the metal was finally ready for the master's hand. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this is a key component to faith. Faith alone. Faith is good. Faith is awesome. Having faith is good. But untested faith, you don't know where it's going to go. You don't know where it's going to end up, guys. Will it break? Will it hold? We don't know. An untempered blade in blacksmithing and in metalworking will break and shatter. Only once the iron is put through a furnace and made to be glowing hot and then beaten with a hammer and then quenched in the cool water is the metal finally ready to be put to use. Only then is it a weapon. God will need soldiers in the apocalypse. People strong in the faith that will not bend, will not break, will not fold under pressure. Will under extreme duress still praise the name of God. Job was tested, tempered in the fires of loss. And he come out on the other side with bounties amassed threefold. You know, people wonder, I'm a good Christian. Why is God doing this to me? At least I think I'm a good Christian. The fact that you are being tested indicates that you're a Christian. How you respond, how you come from the fire dictates, are you a good Christian? Are you going to be there for God even when it seems like God is not there for you? Can you hold the line when it's only you? In early Christianity, guys, Christians were hunted, imprisoned, burned. It's called Roman streetlights, where they would burn Christians basically on street corners to light the corners, to light the pathways. If you are a Christian, you will be tested. Your metal will be tested. Your metal will have to go through the forge. You will hit bottom. Whether your metal comes out glowing cherry red for the master to hammer and beat and pummel and make you what he needs you to be, that is the question. Is your Christianity able to take and survive the crucible? And why are we talking about this now? Why is he testing us now? Because only God knows when the end will come. And Jesus will come on a white stallion and reclaim the earth. One of my favorite parts of The Chosen, and although The Chosen is a televised with a little bit of embellishment in it, I believe this scene captures the heart of everything that the Bible tells us. When the Roman centurion, a proud, from birth Roman centurion, making his way through the Roman ranks, praying to the right gods, as any good Roman would do. But having his prayers unanswered by those gods, seeing his son dying a slow, arduous death. A St. Jude kind of commercial, guys. Swallow his pride. Swallow his Roman pride, guys. Swallow everything that he has known from the time he was brought into this world, guys. Cast it all aside. Knelt before Jesus and said, I don't deserve you to come into my home. If it be your will, Lord, you can heal my son from here. Just say the word. The man was beaten by the world and saw his son dying. Cast all his pride and his vanity aside. Stood before the master and said, if it be your will, a thief hanging on the cross, dying. Just asked if he could be remembered. Jesus said, "Verily unto you, we will be in paradise today." If you think you are a good Christian, oh man, why is God doing this to me? I'm a good Christian. You're not getting it. You're not getting it all, guys. You may be a good Christian, or at least think you are. But this battle, this thing that you're going through, how you come out the other side of this is whether you're a good Christian or not. The metal must be tempered. The metal must be beaten. And at the edge of death itself, the metal is finally ready for the master's hand. Let's roll.